what happened that the testimony Mr. DeVeris had given suddenly became different testimony after he got a new lawyer?
Senator, with respect, the public record speaks for itself, and I would be remiss were I to engage in a discussion about advice that I provided any former client.
All right, but I am correct that in the public record, Mr. DeVeris gave testimony that he recanted once he got a new lawyer.
Again, Senator, with the utmost respect, I think the public record says a great deal about this, and I'll let it speak for itself.
We do need to talk, and if confirmed, I'm happy to work with you and your staff on a bipartisan basis to figure out.
I assume that. What should we do? We have to have an ag worker a policy that allows for the ease for vetted folks who want to work on a farm to be able to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Liberty Watchtower, where truth takes center stage. Here, we keep you informed, engaged, and thinking critically in a world that often demands it. If you're new to the channel, please like this video, subscribe, and tap the notification bell to stay up to date with our real, unfiltered truth. Let's dive in. A Senate hearing this week highlighted two major issues: the urgent need for immigration reform and ethical concerns in a high-profile investigation related to Trump.
The chair, Senator Welch.
Thank you very much. I'm not making this up. I've been recognized.
On behalf of the chair, I recognize you.
I apologize.
I
apologize for distracting the senator, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Edlow. A couple of questions. Number one, immigration is a mess here, and a lot of the responsibility is Congress, because there are areas where we should legislate. I agree with that, and that includes on parole. But one of the areas I'm really concerned about is ag workers. We've had some of our dairy workers picked up, and I am fully in support of hopefully bipartisan legislation that allows for our farmers to get the labor they need in Vermont. If we don't have immigrant labor, our cows don't get milked. It's just that simple. Do you have a view on a position that would reform the immigration laws that would allow for ag workers in Tennessee and Kentucky and Vermont, in Iowa?
No, thank you, Senator. I'm, well aware of this issue, having worked for a congressman from Idaho. I've spoken to many people within the dairy industry and understand what they face.
So what do you think we should do?
Well, I think we do need to talk, and if confirmed, I'm happy to work with you and your staff on a bipartisan basis to figure out.
I assume that. What should we do? We have to have an ag worker a policy that allows for the ease for vetted folks who want to work on a farm to be able to do it.
Respectfully, sir, I do agree in that we do need to look closely at both the H-2A and H-2B visas as they exist right now to see whether and how they need to be updated to address the needs of these industries.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Mr. Woodward, thank you for our visit yesterday in the office. I appreciated that. The one thing that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today is when you had two clients in the Mar-A-Lago case, you had Mr. Nada and you had Mr. Taveras, right?
Senator, thank you for the question. I did represent Mr. Nada, and for a time, I did represent Mr. Taveras.
Right, and this is where I just wanted to get an explanation of what happened. My understanding is Mr. Taveras testified in the grand jury. The judge informed him that there may be a conflict because of the situation he faced and your other client, Mr. Nada. And at that point, he got a new lawyer. Is that right? I think a federal defender.
Senator, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And I also want to be mindful of not divulging confidences involving my former clients. But that generally tracks.
Yeah, so this is public record. Of course, I'm not going to ask you to divulge any confidences, so I am with you there. But what I understand happened is that and this is the public record, that Mr. Taveras changed his testimony from what he had said in the grand jury, where basically he was saying he didn't recall anything, to testimony where he said the boss wanted those tapes to be lost. So how did it happen that you went from, and you were being paid by a Trump PAC, as I understand it, or by a political action committee, is that correct?
Senator Peter Welch, DVT, called for bipartisan action to reform the broken immigration system, emphasizing the critical role of immigrant labor in dairy farming. If we don't have immigrant labor, our cows don't get milked, Welch said, urging updates to visa programs like H-2A and H-2B. Later, attorney Stanley Woodward was questioned over a potential conflict of interest. Woodward represented 2 Trump aides in the Mar-A-Lago classified documents case, Walt Nauta and Yuscol Taveras, while being paid by a Trump PAC. Taveras changed his testimony after switching lawyers, raising concerns about undue influence. Woodward declined to comment, citing attorney-client privilege. The hearing spotlighted broader concerns over immigration policy and legal accountability in politically charged investigations.
For your representation on behalf of both of these individuals.
Senator, I have received compensation by the Save America PAC. Yes, that's public.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. So how did this, what happened that the testimony Mr. Taveras had given suddenly became different testimony after he got a new lawyer?
Senator, with respect, the public record speaks for itself, and I would be remiss were I to engage in a discussion about advice that I provided any former client.
All right, but I am correct that in the public record, Mr. Taveras gave testimony that he recanted once he got a new lawyer.
Again, Senator, with the utmost respect, I think the public record says a great deal about this, and I'll let it speak for itself.
Okay. I have no more questions. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.